It's a common misconception that translators and interpreters do the same things. I'd just like to highlight a few similarities and differences between the two vastly. Translation refers to written communication, whereas interpreting refers to verbal communication. So, for example, a translator will not attend a court hearing to verbally translate between the parties involved, but would maybe translate the written evidence used in the case. Secondly, both jobs require different skills. Translate to require the ability to write well comprehensibly into a target language. This means that they need to have an excellent command of that native language. For example, although I can speak French to a good standard, I cannot translate from English to French, although I could translate from French into English, which means I'm only halfway that being an international player. An interpreter needs to be able to speak both languages proficiently. Thirdly, the qualifications and experience required to become either a professional translator or interpreter do differ. Both roles require years of training with the resulting qualification, but what they can learn on the training will be completely different. So just to be clear, translators will translate written text and interpreters will translate into verbal communication. Why the bumblebees pick some flowers over others. Researchers have known for a while that flowers' color can be a signal. Color in shorthand that says to a bee, "Hey, I get some good quality nectar here, want to stop by for a visit?" But new findings show that bees also use color to get clues about a flower's temperature. And according to a study from a British research team published in the journal Nature, some like it hot. Bees use up a lot of energy just staying warm on some days. In fact, they can't even fly if they are too cold. So if one flower is warmer than another, a bee can save some of its fuel by basking on that flower while it's doing its pollinating business. And it turns out that bumblebees consistently do choose warmer flowers over cooler ones, even when the two flowers offer up the same quantity and quality of nectar. Some plants seem to be evolutionarily adapted to be slightly warmer because the warmer ones get visited more by the chilly bees. When it comes to getting pollinated, apparently the heat is on, and that is the buzz. A team of researchers finds that shelling out for services that save time can bring greater feelings of life satisfaction than, say, simply buying more stuff. The results appear in the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. It's safe to say that most of us regularly feel crunched for time. So much so that we are experiencing what Ashley Whillans of the Harvard Business School, the lead author of the study, describes as a time famine. And like any famine, this chronic lack of time takes its toll on our health. When we feel like our to-do lists are longer than the hours that we have time in the day to complete them, we can feel as if our life is spiraling out of control, thereby undermining our personal well-being. Well, if time is money, Whillans and her team wondered whether money that's used to buy time could offer some relief. Like paying someone else to clean the house, mow the lawn, or deliver the groceries. Colombian military and police have confirmed that they have captured Dairo Antonio Uziga, known as Otoniel, Colombia's most sought-after drug trafficker and leader of the Clan del Golfo. He was captured on Saturday during an operation carried out by the country's armed forces. Colombia had offered a reward of about $800,000 for information concerning his whereabouts. Italy's right-wing former interior minister, Matteo, went on trial Saturday on charges of kidnapping for refusing in 2019 to allow a Spanish migrant rescue ship to dock in Sicily, keeping the people on board at sea for days. On the face of things, it seems both absurd and unfair that large American companies regularly whittle down their tax bills, taking advantage of every loophole on offer. One study found that at least 55 big companies incurred no federal taxes at all on their profits in 2020. A proposal being discussed as the economists went to press, and as the Democratic Party scrambled to fund its social spending package, seems to offer a popular solution: a minimum tax on corporate earnings as reported to shareholders, rather than as massaged down when reported to tax collectors. Green chemistry is a concept designed to develop technologies which allow chemistry to be practiced with minimal damage to the environment or in an environmentally compatible way. And it's meant to cover both chemical processes and chemical products. The center, if you would, set up about 7 or 8 years ago, and the idea was to provide a hub of activities that covered fundamental research work, industrial collaboration, but also educational developments. So we work with schools and on public projects as well, and also networking. So we network out to well over 1,000 people around the globe. All of you, of course, can read. There was a time, however, when you couldn't get you all learned. Do you remember how you did that? There are several methods teachers use to teach reading. You probably learned by using a combination of them. There are 4 main methods of teaching reading. The first and most common is the phonics method. Here's how teachers use phonics first. They teach their students the alphabet. So the students learn the letters and which sounds each one makes. The instructors also teach the students how letters can blend together. Then they often show the students sentences with similar sounds. For example, the cat sat on the hat. How now? Brown cow? Or how about this one? There's a mouse in the house. You remember those, right? Well, as students learn more sounds, they learn more words. This helps them improve their vocabulary level. Soon, students who use the phonics method are able to read new words and sound them out for themselves. I think you can see why this method is so successful. That's the first method. But like I said, there are 3 more ways. The next is the look and say method. This basically teaches children to recognize words and remember how to say them. This involves a lot of memorization. Flashcards are often used to accomplish this. You probably used this method in the past as well, right? Hello, may I help you? Yes, I hope so. My name is Harry Burke. I got a message from someone in this office saying I still needed to pay a lab fee. Let me check. Harry Burke. Oh, yes. The computer shows that you haven't paid the lab fee for your biology class. You'll need to do this before you can attend your lab section. I didn't know there was a laugh. I don't remember seeing it on my bill. Did you register after September 15th? I think so. The fee probably didn't show up on your bill because you registered late. I'm afraid you'll have to pay to the cashier's office. Okay, I better take care of it right away. Thanks for letting me know. The word science comes from a Latin verb, meaning to know. Science is a way of knowing. It emerges from our curiosity about ourselves and our world. Striving to understand is one of our basic drives who are scientists. Scientists are people who ask questions about nature and who believe that these questions can be answered. Scientists are explorers who are passionate about
In order to study the effects that climate change and pollution have on the environment, long-term monitoring of the environment is necessary. One of the most important natural environments so never thought of the coral reefs. However, monitoring the fish population and biodiversity is still a challenging task. Data collection in this kind of environment is labor-intensive, requiring divers to count the fish species in a certain area in recent years. Digital video recording has become much cheaper, which makes underwater cameras a good alternative for data collection. Furthermore, automatic video processing and pattern recognition are able to process this kind of data. This paper describes an entire system which is being developed to allow marine biologists to analyze large amounts of video data for long-term monitoring purposes. To give an indication of the challenges in this project, summary is given of the amount of data that the system is expected to process at the moment. Around 10 cameras record 12 o'clock hours daylight, with some have already recorded over 4 years. The estimated amount of raw video DEC2 is at the moment 112 terabytes. By processing this data using automatic video processing software, we expect to find around 1,010 fish, which will also be categorized by species or family. All this data will be stored in a database which is expected to take up to 500 gigabytes. Besides processing all this data, it will also be a challenge to present the state to marine biologists in a usable manner. A non-governmental organization, NGO, is an organization that is neither a part of a government nor a conventional for-profit business. Usually set up by ordinary citizens, NGOs may be funded by governments, foundations, businesses, or private persons. Some avoid formal funding altogether and are run primarily by volunteers. NGOs are highly diverse groups of organizations engaged in a wide range of activities, and take different forms in different parts of the world. Some may have charitable status, while others may be registered for tax exemption based on recognition of social purposes. Others may be fronts for political, religious, or other interests. The number of NGOs in the United States is estimated at 1.5 million. Russia has 277,000 NGOs. India is estimated to have had around 2 million NGOs in 2009, just over 1 NGO per 600 Indians, and many times the number of primary schools and primary health centers in India. NGOs are difficult to define, and the term NGO is rarely used consistently. As a result, there are many different classifications in use. The most common focus is on orientation and level of operation. Relationship between the fault lines in the Earth's crust and an earthquake. This dislocation of the rock occurs from the Earth's surface, some kilometers to several hundred kilometers vertically down to the crust. The earthquake's focus is called the epicenter, which is vertically beneath the interior of the Earth's crust, and the energy releases and transfers through epicenter. The faults are the fracture on the Earth's crust. The position of the epicenters can be identified by the faults map, looking down from the center of the Earth. It will result in a seismic wave which is decreased as it moved away from the epicenter.
Safety is the most important in the biology lab. The elephant is the largest animal living on land. Globalization has been the most important phenomenon in the United Arab Emirates. Many inventors in the engineering sector are inspired by nature.